This is why I haven't recorded this. Not working out. So
I just use my finger all the time.
not excited about that. I am predicting such massive failure. Uh-oh.
Glasses. Where are you going?
Well, not smart.
I mean, I'm not nervous. Success. Ultimate failure. It'll work. Hey folks, today we're going to start on our Goonies display box. And for that we're going to need some wood and plexiglass. So I have the rough dimensions of that. It is approximately 12 inches wide. So we're going to go 13. And then the length is going to be 28 inches. Okay. And the height is going to be 15 inches. So width, length, height. Okay. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to have a base where the plexiglass sits inside of it. So essentially it'll be around the outside of it, and then it'll have like a rabbet cut that it will sit, so it'll be sitting on top of the wood here. So it'll have kind of like a profile like this. So the plexiglass will go right here. And so it should be pretty solid around that. And so I think what we're going to do is have this piece of wood here with like a 1/4 inch here. And then I think I might do some type of profile here on the outside. So we're going to have to cut a rabbet here. That'll be 13 inches to the inside. And then 1/4 inch and then some type of profile. So I think if we make our wood 15 inches wide for the wood, that'll be pretty good. And then since we added an inch on each side, this way we'll add an inch, so it'll actually be 30 inches on this side. Okay. And I think we'll see what size wood I've got, because we got to put this wood together. But this needs to be somewhere around 1 to 1.5 inches. And then I think we're going to put a cap on it. And I think the cap will be pretty basic. And so I think the cap will sit on top with an inside, so it'll probably only have to have that rabbet on it, and it'll be kind of straight all the way around. So this will be where the plexiglass sits there. So this will be 13 inches here. You just have a little bit of overhang, just so it can keep its shape and keep anything from the inside. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to glue this attachment point, and this point down here is going to just be hopefully like a press fit and not glued. And then the ship probably going to put onto the base with hot glue. So we'll hot glue that down so it'll stay there, and then the plexiglass will be attached to the top, so I can pull that off and have access to everything inside, to the minifigs, to everything else, to the animation, movements and stuff, but still be protected. So that's the plan. So we need a piece of wood that's 15 by 30, and this one needs to be, so that's a 1/4 inch, so 13 and a half plus another, so we'll make that 14 inches. So 14 by 29. Now, I don't have any wood that's good for that size, so I'll need to probably cut it into thirds and then glue them together. All right, so we're going to start getting our wood prepared for this, and I just went through and grabbed a couple of pieces of stuff that I had nearby. So I've got this maple here that is about 8 inches by 1.75 inches, and I think this is red oak, and it's 9 inches, and I measured earlier, it's about 1 inch. And so I'm going to make the base out of the maple, and then I think I want to make the top out of the oak and see how it looks. And if I don't like it, I can always make it again. I don't know, this might not be red oak after all. We'll get it milled up and see. Okay, so I got a track saw. This one's Craig, not sponsored. But what a track saw does is makes a very straight line for glue up joints. And so I've decided that I really like this live edge going on here. I'll show you more in a minute. And so I decided I'm going to use that as part of the project, but I need a very straight edge on both of these boards so I can glue them together. So I had 3 pieces cut, I only ended up milling 2 of them. The other one wasn't quite thick enough to run through the planer. And honestly, these were maybe a 1/4 inch short of being able to run all the way through the planer. So I'm gonna have to belt sand them a little bit, but I got 2 really good faces that I'll be able to use for the face up. So we're gonna cut them to a straight edge so we can glue them up. So you could use a straight line cut jig for a table saw where you attach this to a basically a runner and then run it through, but track saw works extremely well. So now we've got exactly straight and perpendicular cut here. Well, I wonder, my angle may be tiny bits off. Probably good. I can see it, but I think it's my table more than it is the wood. I think we're good. All right, let's see if these are coming together. Ooh. There might be a slight bevel there. Might be a slight bevel. You can fix that by flipping them. And it's got the same angle going both ways. That's probably what I'm going to have to do. But we'll get these glued up, see how they look. Alright, so we're at day 2. I ran into a couple issues yesterday that I wasn't able to keep working, and went and picked up my panel clamps from storage. So I got those now so I can glue up these pieces. And I wasn't really happy with how the track saw made those edges to come together for a glue joint. And I would bet that more than likely it's a me problem, not a saw problem. Probably just need to make some slight adjustments to it to make that a little bit better. But I have this 6-inch joiner that is collecting dust and not working, so maybe we ought to put it to work and see if we can make that edge a little bit better. I've already checked the fence is definitely 90 degrees compared to the table. Now it wouldn't be good for very long boards. I've tried running some bigger stock through it before and that didn't work out, but these are pretty short panels, so they should work out pretty good. I've also decided to go with some live edge on the outside because of how the wood turned out, and so that's going to change the profile on that as far as how I was going to ride out the part for it to sit in. So I think what I'm going to do now is take a little 1/8-inch router bit and make a channel for the glass to sit down in, and see how that works. So we're going to probably do a test piece here in a minute on some plywood just to check it out and see how it looks. But let's get these glue joints jointed so hopefully they can line up a little bit better. So I would have thought that would take multiple passes. Where are you going? I may have had you tilted up a little bit far to see that. Sorry about that. I think that track saw had it really close, so we only have some minor trimming up. Somebody's shooting in the background. Sounds like some target shooting. Let's check this panel out, see how it looks. That's pretty close. I wonder if we could get it a little closer. Might run this one more time through. All right, so that was the maple. Let's take a look at the black walnut. See how this looks. Ooh, looks pretty good. Still maybe a tiny bit in the middle. So I bet you one more pass through will make it work, and that'll give you a chance to see closer what I'm doing. I've really got to get some dust extraction going on here. Actually, I probably could use some of that for wood filler later, maybe. All right, so these are like bar clamps, panel clamps, parallel clamps. I think they've got a lot of different names. We could use dowels or biscuits or something else to help hold these together, but I'm going to just glue them together and see how they do just being face glued. Go with it. So let's take a look. There's a little bit of a ridge there. I might have a little bit of a bow in one of these. Let's see if we can match that up a little bit better. That lines up a little bit better. Tiny bit of a gap maybe. Let's look and see if it's flat. We have a tool coming here in the near future that will be joining us when we get the sawmill shed set up. And it would be very useful right about now, but we don't have it yet. All right, that's perfectly flat. Fairly perfectly flat. Not perfectly flat there, but close. So I think we're good enough to glue this one up. We'll put one more clamp across this way on the top so it has even clamping pressure. Okay. That was a bit much. You need to give me one of those little brushes, you know, that you spread the stuff out with, or a roller or something. I'm going to be a real woodworker. I can just use my finger all the time. Well, the finger worked pretty good. Sorry for my runny nose. It's that time of year. So it's only my second time gluing up panels like this. I built a countertop table thingy, butcher block looking thing. And to be honest with you, it turned out horrible. It had a whole bunch of cupping, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't know a lot of things back then as far as gluing up panels. I've learned quite a bit since then. If you have more clamps, why leave any behind? All right. This one might be a little overkill for the size panel, but it's what I got. All right, let's take a look. Got a little glue squeeze out. We'll clean that off later with a straight edge. All right, looks pretty good. Let's set it inside. Oh. You know, I'm beginning to think that they don't care about my filming schedule over there. I don't remember how much these were when I bought them. I bet they weren't cheap. So I think this is the good face. Got more sanding to do, obviously. So still a little bit of a gappy there, but I think we're just going to deal with it. So my planer can only do 1 inch as the smallest without putting some type of other filler piece in there. So this probably could have used another 2 passes, but do the best we can. We'll just have to try to sand it. All right, let's use those other clamps. All right, let's see how close we're getting. squirrel over there. Yeah, kind of about like the other one. So pretty close, not terrible. Probably could be better. Let's clamp these together. I don't want to do too much pressure. I think I dented the wood there a little bit. Sorry about that. Okay, so I got a little palm router here, and I've got a small little 1/8 inch straight cutting bit, and it's set to just a little over 1/4 of an inch. So we're going to see if we can cut this and make a groove for that to sit in. So we're going to get a little test piece. So I've got a straight edge here. I know that it's 2 inches from my mark, so I'm going to see if I can put it on this mark and see if we can cut it. Also, not very experienced with a router either. I've done a little bit, but not much. Glad we're practicing. That was not great. All right, let's try again. Well, slower is better. I have to clean this groove out. You know, I'm gonna have to go back and edit every one of these freaking gunshots out. All right, that was better. And I think with what we're doing with plexiglass, that'll be fine. But I'm definitely gonna have to have straight edge, start and stop point marked, and just very carefully go through it. So I think this is probably about the same width as the glass, and it fits in perfectly well. A little bit of wiggle room, but not a ton. So, all right, so proof of concept, that definitely works. All right, so we've got the panels gluing up. We're gonna let them dry till tomorrow. Once we do that, we'll probably, I think, initially sand them and probably go and cut them to width. And then I think I'm going to cut the groove out before I put my finish on it. So we'll probably get that done tomorrow, and then maybe the next day we'll put the finish on, and then maybe the day after that we'll put it together, but we'll see. Just taking up my whole kitchen table right now, that's all. See you tomorrow.
Well, good morning. It has been a minute since we recorded the last bit of content that you just watched on this video. I've done a lot of work since then, both on this project, on other projects. I just didn't film my work on this project, and had some other life events come up, and just haven't been able to get back around to it and finish it up. But let me kind of walk you through what we've done. So we have this red oak, also known as black walnut, that we glued together for the top with this nice little live edge going on here. We took some of the sawdust and made a homemade wood filler with some wood glue to fill the gaps, and I'd say a decent job at that. This is that maple. It's going to be the base, and it's got a little bit of a bow to it. Thankfully it bows in the right direction, so this will be the bottom where it bows down. Again, did that same wood filler here. I did figure out that my track saw was about probably 1 to 2 degrees off of being straight up and down. I don't know if it just got bumped or had some dirt in there that caused it to be off, but I was able to clean it up and straighten it up, and not helpful now, but for future stuff. Actually, I did use it. I did cut this edge, so we've cut them to width, and I did do that with the track saw. So we've got to sand those edges down. As you can see, there's some saw mark there. So we're going to do one more sand. So I've sanded these with a belt sander, a bunch, and then a palm sander. And so we're going to sand one more time at 180 on the face. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm okay with it not being perfect. And then we've got to sand these edges. Let me show you the box. Definitely not perfect. So I ran into a couple of problems with the edges coming together and how thin and flimsy this material was, and just had a really hard time getting it to come together. I had a bunch of clamps on it, these little corner clamps that I got. I did the tape, I did all kinds of stuff. So in all honesty, it is what it is. It's a Lego display case. Now, if I was building something for a, for sale project, I'd have to reconsider this whole thing and do it either entirely differently or with much different quality materials, or learn a lot more before I did it. But I would say for my experience currently, reasonable. What I've not done is I've not set it on top of this wood to see how it's going to fit. All right, well, at least it's not bigger than the wood. That's a good start. So we got to cut out that channel here. Not excited about that. Well, that could be better. Uh-oh. My live edge goes inside the box. That could be a problem. No. No. This is why I haven't recorded this. It's not working out. We're going to call that sanding done. All right, so I'm not going to trace it because it's too flimsy. I'm just going to mark the corners basically. And then I'll draw a straight line to connect them. I promise, if this works out, miracle. I am predicting such massive failure. You know, if nothing else, we figured out how not to build a display case, right? Oh, I bobbled right there. But other than that, maybe we're good. Dust extractor probably would help. So definitely a little bit of flexibility in here. Why did I stop? I stopped 2 inches short because that's where my line goes from my support. But I got to run all the way up to the end, you goofball. Not smart. Anybody else nervous watching this? Is this gonna fit or not? I mean, I'm not nervous. Could you imagine if you built like one of those very fancy $1,000 cutting boards and you're routering out the juice groove and you go, nyah. Oh my gosh. Nope. Not gonna do it. Good turkeys over here this morning. They are really getting active. We might be reaching breeding season or something. I don't know. Come on. Dang it. Sometimes it just reaches in there and grabs that grain and just goes. That stinks.
Oh boy. I think that means I'm all the way around. Now we got to test it. All right, last chance, make your bets. Success, ultimate failure, it'll work. You know what's interesting is I can't get one side to go in. Maybe. I don't know. Okay, definitely does not fit. But it doesn't feel super far off, actually. Close. Very close. Think it'll work. One more trim. I am not sure that there's an amount of money somebody could try to pay me to do this again. I'll just be honest with you. Don't think so. I mean, I want to still do woodworking projects, don't get me wrong. I got a lot of stuff I want to build. But this specific, like, display case, there we go. You know what? I think it's gonna work this time. have notched out the whole corner, but I mean, I still think it's going to work. It's in. So this side, it's supposed to be able to go in and out of, not permanently attached, because I'm going to have the Goonies ship on the inside, and I'm going to be able to lift this off, check it out, move pieces around, put it back on. So I will probably need to modify this a little bit to make it a little bit smoother going in and out. But for right now, it works. Now we just got to do it one more time. Well, I probably should label this. It's a good idea. All right, blue marker on blue tape. It's a great idea. Okay, so we got top. All right, let's orient this a little bit. So we will call this top. Bottom left. Top. Bottom right. Now I just have to know what that means. Alright, so we're going to call this bottom left, bottom right. Alright, so now when we orient the lid onto here, we know kind of where we're going. So I think I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to basically set it on there. Actually, I should set it on there now and mark it. While it's in this orientation. Okay, so I'm going to mark it, cut it, and then I'll just adjust it to fit, and we'll just live with it. Okay, we're going to eat lunch, but let's mark this first real quick. All right, so this side's going to face up. And I think that I want to face it this way. Not that it really matters. Okay, I think we're good. Good with it. All right, here we go. So I do like the idea of these contrasting wood colors. I think it's going to be cool. I wonder if it's going to be a little dark, so I've thought about putting some lights in here. So we might modify it one day, put like some little rope light in there shooting up. Thought about putting these little disc lights up top shooting down on it. I don't know. Right now I just want to get it built so I can move it off my kitchen table. All right. And yep, pencil marks all the way around.
All right, back from lunch. Forgot to make my 2-inch marks. Let me make those 2-inch marks, then we'll get to cutting on this. All right, here we go. Ah. Wow. Well, thank goodness this is the top. When that grain decides to grab you, man, it just shoves you. I could be a little bit less aggressive with my cut, but I feel like if I did that, going back in the exact same line would be a little bit risky. It's probably what I should be doing, but oh well. I could save these for filler. That'd probably been a good idea. Okay. First time? Are we kidding? How about that? I would not have bet on that. All right. So sand, finish, then install the glass. All right, let's go. I'm worried about a tiny little scratch over here, and I got this giant gouge over here. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to put some of this pre-stained wood conditioner on. Well, it doesn't say how long you need to wait, but it says you need to do it within 2 hours. So I guess that's today. Okay, so I think I'm going to wipe it down with a tack cloth real quick. Apply this wood conditioner. Just thinking about whether or not I should just do one side at a time. I think that might be a good idea. And then come back tomorrow, do the other side. All right, so we're just going to do the bottom. So we'll do the bottom today, or the underside of the top. I'll give it a chance to see what it looks like. All right, here we go. I know this is going to surprise some of you, but I don't have a ton of experience finishing fine woods like this. No, I don't. All right, so I got some tack cloth here. Sticky. Try to get up all this little fine dust. Guess there was some dust still there, huh? How about we put some gloves on? That sounds like a great idea. All right. So I've got this brush. All right. So 5 to 15 minutes, so maybe 7 minutes. So 240 will wipe off the excess. We'll get a good look at what this wood's going to look like with this. So theoretically, this will help it to have a more even finish. Maybe. I bet you they make something that does this. They don't sell it at Lowe's. I don't even sell that glue brush to spread glue around with at Lowe's. I look for it. What do you guys think? All right, let's set it off to the side. All right, let's see what this maple looks like. So as a reminder, this was going to be the bottom side until the live edge got in the way. And so and I'm telling you that because it means I did not work as diligently on sanding this side as I did the other parts, because it was supposed to be on the bottom and it's not. All right, 3 o'clock. All right. All right, I think that's pretty beautiful looking wood. Definitely some contrast there. I've never used tung oil before. Nobody's surprised by that. All right, so it says apply a generous coat, let it sit for 5 to 10 minutes, then wipe off the excess, and repeat another coat 24 hours. Another foam brush. All right, so I think I'm just going to pour it on here and spread it out. What do you think? Whoop, sorry. Now that I'm thinking about this, some of this might run over the edge. I might have should have pre-treated the edge. We'll see. Probably shouldn't overwork this as I overwork it. All right, so it'll be about the same time. All right, so we got a clean rag here. It's been a few minutes, so we'll just wipe the excess off. I'm gonna set it over here to dry. I just can't wait to have some workspace to start doing all this stuff. It'll be wonderful. Will somebody come over here and build me a sawmill shed and a metal building and a... Well, I guess that's really all I need. It's not too much to ask, right? Since this is going to kind of protect the wood, I want to get it in the groove as well. That's some good looking wood. Okay, so we'll let this set 5-10 minutes, wipe off the excess, which doesn't look like there'll be much excess, and then we'll let them dry till tomorrow. So probably what we'll do tomorrow is do the sides and the other side, sides and the other side, and then the next day, yeah, because we'll have to let that dry for a while. Next day we'll do the other side, second coat. Next day there's, oh my goodness, that's like 3-4 more days. It's never gonna stop. It's rain coming, man. You know what? We're gonna put the other. We're gonna do it. We'll put the good face up, but I can't wait. We gotta. That'd be too long. Too long. Could be a mistake. Who knows? But I can't drag this project out forever. Good idea. Get it done now. All right, so 310. We'll wipe it down. And we'll put a coat of that other oil on there. We'll see how it looks. All right, so it's been a few minutes. We've let these rest, and wiped off any excess. So this will be the finished side that's looking up, and I think it looks really good. It's got a little bit of sapwood in there and a little bit on this edge, but I really like that contrast personally. No gunshots today, isn't that nice? Did I already say that? I can't remember. All right, looks like a pretty even coat. I'm going to go ahead and stop here. Off camera, I'll wait, about 5-10 minutes to wipe off any excess. And we'll set them inside the shed somewhere safe-ish so they can dry. And then tomorrow we'll put another coat of the finish on it. Not so sure about sanding in between. I know some stains and finishes you sand with like 220 between. We'll kind of look and see what it looks like. We might hit it with a little bit of 220 and then come back over, or we might not. We'll see. But tomorrow the intention is to get that second coat on it, and then the next day hopefully we'll get it assembled. Hope. What was it? What was the line? Dang it, I can't remember the Star Wars quote now. All right, if you remember the quote, put it in the comments. I might remember by then, but feel free to throw it in the comments. Okay, that's all for today. For you, we'll be back in a split second. For me, tomorrow.
All right, so we're another day closer. We've put a second coat on most of the piece. It didn't do super great with laying down flat wet, which obviously I should have anticipated that. It didn't hurt it at all, but decided to kind of do a staggered finish. Again, trying to rush before that rain comes in. My primary workspace is the outdoors right now, so trying to do what I can. But what we've got is, I test fit this one more time. It definitely fits in there reasonably well. And I've got that groove, so this is the top. And what I'm going to do is put hot glue in that groove and set this down in there. I've already cleaned out the inside. I've not done the outside yet, but I wiped down the edge that's going to go in there. So I've got my hot glue gun warming up. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this back out, blow this off one more time, and then hopefully fill that groove with hot glue and set this in there before it has a chance to dry. Theoretically, that should work. So let's get this out of the way. I've already kind of buffed this a little bit. Didn't put a wax or anything on it. No additional kind of finished stuff on it right now. Once we get this glued up, I'm going to flip it over, and then we're going to do another coat on the top, and I'll tape that so you guys can see it. I like this finish though. This is a Danish, or was it Danish oil? Sorry. Tung oil. All right, let's see if we're getting warm. Not quite yet. All right, I learned something. Hot glue guns work a lot better if you plug them in. All right, pardon the noise in the background. There's a boat that is going up the river and being very loud about it. All right, so here we go. Stop falling on me. we're kind of doing spots. It's not really a continuous flow. But I would think more than enough to hold this. And again, it's going to be pushing down on it. It does look like it's already setting up a little bit. Oh crap. All right, here we go. Okay, being tricky. Come on. Wasn't this hard getting in the last time? Here we go. Come on. What the heck, Edgar? There we go. Okay. That's gonna need some cleanup. This is not in. Dadgum. Wasn't this hard when wasn't even gluing it. Fail. All right, so what did we learn, class? A, hot glue does not have a very long working time at all. B, once it sets up, you can't shove anything in that hole. And C, or 3, it is a pain in the butt to dig out of a groove. So we're going to try some of this sticks to almost anything. Instantly waterproof. Sticks to wet surfaces. Clear. Clear. So definitely have a longer working time, but it also is likely to make a giant mess. Somebody could come over here and help me out, I'd appreciate it. I'm really hoping that the reason that that didn't fit in there was, this is such a mess, was because the glue was drying up and blocking it. It really felt like it went in there a lot easier than this the last time. Okay. Definitely a mess. For goodness sakes. Okay, here we go. Oh boy. Not fitting in. What the heck, Edgar? Well, certainly sounded like it went in. You know, I'm sure some of you out there are like just shaking your head at me and wringing your hands thinking about, you know, so much of a better way to do it. And you're probably right. But then what fun would that be to not learn all the wrong ways to do it first? Okay, so we are going to let this set up till tomorrow. This is definitely a longer drawing time. And assuming it holds up pretty well, we'll take the tape off. So you know what? I think I'm gonna leave well enough alone. I was gonna super glue these edges a little bit more. I think I'm gonna leave that alone. Why make something potentially worse? We're gonna leave it alone. So tomorrow we'll take the tape off, clean the sides of it, flip it over. Well, I need to do that today because otherwise it won't be dry. So let's flip it over, let it rest on here, and put another coat on the top real quick. I mean, I'm sure it's fine. It's not gonna fall out. Oh, that's not great. Well, needs some attention. All right, hold on. Going for a ride. Woo! All right, let's switch spot. Okay, so I'm not sure what I did here, but I definitely rubbed it up again. Sure to be fine. Sure to be fine. A lot of moving and shaking here, aren't I? Okay, let's stop doing that. Tongue oil. So I might put a wax coat on the top of this just because this will be a surface that you know, is exposed, getting dusty, need to be wiped down. Cats might be laying on it. I'll post a short if my cats lay up on it and give you a video of that, but it might need a little bit more durable finish. But it is gorgeous, isn't it? Okay. So I'm gonna pick it up, transfer it inside, leave it sitting like this so this can air dry. The silicone can dry in the groove, and hopefully I'll be able to lift it up and down like this without it coming apart. Not today, tomorrow. And then tomorrow we can put it on top of the Lego ship. I'm gonna go take the bottom and the hot glue gun because I do think it'll work for that, and I'm gonna go glue the ship inside of that footprint and let that be setting up so that tomorrow we can put this on top and hopefully put it in place. So, but I'll take you with me, so we'll go do that next. So let me move this out of the way. I'm not nervous at all. All right, so here's the base. I think we're good and dry. Back's got a good finish on it. I'll put some feet on it real quick. So the shelf's going to sit on, it's only about 12 inches wide, and we're about 14 inches on this one. So I'm going to put the feet not more than 12 inches apart. And you may remember this has a little bit of a bow to it, so I'm hoping these are thick enough that when I put it on here it'll sit flat enough. So we'll see. Alright, so 14 inches, we need to be 12 inches. So if we come in 1.5 inches, that should work. So we'll do 1.5 inches to the center. Which will make the edge go out to about 12. Disappointed we couldn't get this, live edge on the upside, but it's all right. Do what you gotta do. Perfect. Okay, so we got our feet on. Let's take it down to where the ship is, and we'll see if we can hot glue the ship on here. Then we'll go from there. All right, so we'll take a quick look.
All right.
Talking to the camera, Poppies.
What'd I do?
I said I'm talking to the camera. Okay, so we got the ship a little bit of an angle. We're testing it out before we hot glue it. Everything's inside the groove, so we should be good as far as that goes. So you can kind of see down the footprint. Then we got the attic scene bonus with the Goonies right there. All right, so let's get this hot glued down. All right, so my cord doesn't reach quite far enough, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go and take this off. Unplug and hope that I remember close enough where it was. Okay, I think we're good. See if we're still hot enough. Glue this one down. Okay, I think we're good. Poppies, I don't think I screwed it up.
All right.
Okay. All right, so we got the base sitting on the table. It's sitting on those pads. Even though there's a little bit of bow in it, it doesn't touch the table, so it's up off of the table, so that's perfect. So I think we're in good shape. All we need now is the top to dry, and then we'll put it over top. All right, let's get started on this side. I got Poppy's here helping me out. Apparently Dude's helping too. You helping too, Dude?
Yeah.
Come here, Dude. Dude wants her a minute. You want to be on TV? Alright. So first thing we're going to do is clean the inside of this just real quick. I got that special plexiglass glass cleaner. So once we get the inside cleaned out, we'll drop it on the base, and then hopefully it'll fit. Yeah, I think most of that's on the outside.
Oh, is that the outside?
I think so. But we'll see in a second. Alright, so let's slide this over. Alright. I have a reference, puppies. So I remember. Okay, bottom right. I have this labeled. So that way, hopefully it would fit somewhere. Okay, so this is bottom right. So this corner goes to the bottom right. All right. All right, let's see. Yep, feels like it's stuck. It's not moving easily. Yep. All right. All right, so this corner goes over here. Well, poppies.
Here we go.
See if it falls out. Okay, didn't fall out. We're not going to shake it. Let's see. Okay. Fit over top, so that's a good start. Whoop. Oh.
Wow.
Well, pushed it too far inside. Okay. Close.
You're not gonna put any glue in that, right?
Don't see where it's hanging up at. I think once this goes on, it's not coming back off, poppies.
Oh.
That was a blow for freedom.
Looks like it's on.
I think we're on.
Yeah.
This is definitely not coming back off. I have anything to say about it. Alright, so let's take the tape off and see if it falls apart. Alright, so far it's not crumbling.
Hey, you guys.
Hey, you guys.
Woohoo.
Looks like there's a little crack here, Poppies.
Oh.
We might have to super glue that later.
Huh?
We might have to super glue that back together.
Yeah.
Alright, here we go. So I was thinking when I was bringing this down
Yeah.
that this is going to be HGTV good. You know, only good from a distance.
Yeah.
Don't look too close. All right. All right. I think it is as good as it's going to get today. Woo-hoo.
Hey, you guys.
All right, so we got the maple, or the black on the top, the maple bottom, plexiglass. I do think it probably could use some lights underneath. We might try to come up with some, maybe some LED lights or something, little LED hockey pucks or something we can put underneath maybe.
Yeah.
But there you go. Give me any feedback you guys like. Let me know what you like, don't like. Other thoughts. Next steps for next time. There ain't gonna be a next time.
What is that right there?
Yeah, that's an inside one.
Inside?
Copies.
Oh.
Yeah. We didn't do as good a job cleaning it inside as I thought. But all right. Thank you guys.